Hello students, in the previous class we have learned about national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. These areas are said to be protected areas because these areas are meant for conservation of biodiversity and culture of tribal people surviving in that reserves or in the protected areas. And biosphere reserve is the largest of all the protected areas and may contain other protected areas in it. As we have discussed that government is taking lot of action or lot of care for protecting the animals and plants in a particular ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? If I ask you a question, that is referring to the plants and animals as well as microorganisms surviving in a particular area along with other non-living components such as climate, soil and humidity, etc. that makes the ecosystem. Ecosystem refers to plants, animals, microorganisms and all the other non-living components like climate, soil, river, deltas, etc. They will form the ecosystem. So in an ecosystem, if I see the one example we can take here children, that is pond. Pond is an ecosystem. Forest is an ecosystem. It contains wide variety of different kinds of organisms along with that non living components, or we can also call them as abiotic components. So biotic components and abiotic components together found in a particular area forms the ecosystem. So these plants and animals surviving in an ecosystem, they may be of different varieties or different species. Now what is a species? Species are species are those group of organisms which have similar characteristics. Species of group of similar organisms which have same characteristics and which interbreed among themselves. Interbreed means which can reproduce among themselves to produce their own kind. That group of similar individuals which interbreed among themselves forms species. Species, for example, you can see, you must have seen many wide varieties or breeds of dogs. Even though they are different in their breeds, but they all belong to same species. Now you can see here the heading given in today's topic I am going to deal with is endemic animals or endemic species. Endemic animals are those species of plants. Not only animals, it can be endemic species are those species of plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area. What do you mean by exclusively found in a particular area? Means they are found in that area only. For example, this wild mongoose, bison, Indian giant squirrel, flying squirrel are endemic to Panchmari Biosphere Reserve. Means these wild mongoose, bison, Indian giant squirrel, flying squirrel, etc. These animals are found in Panchmari Biosphere Reserve only. They are exclusive in that area. You want to see them means you have to go to that Biosphere Reserve. So such type of animals or such type of plants which are found in particular area only. They are not found in any other area. That species of plants and animals we call them as endemic species. So endemic species means found in a particular area. Similarly, we have another category of species called as endangered species or endangered animals. Endangered means these animals are in a threat to vanish from the earth. Vanish means they are going to become extinct from the earth. Their number in this on this earth is reduced. So animals whose numbers are diminishing. Diminishing means going down to a level that they might face extinction are known as endangered animals. Endangered means their number is day by day the number is going down. For example, tiger, wild buffalo, barasingha. So the government has taken some action, or they have launched a project called as Project Tiger to protect the tigers in the country. Project Tiger is a project launched by our government in the year 1973 to protect the tigers. These tigers would have become extinct from the earth. If they are not taken care, they will become extinct. So extinct means totally they may vanish from the earth. One of the best example of extinct animals, extinct species is dinosaurs. You know dinosaur, you must have heard that animal was existing before many years ago, but it is not seen now. That animal has become extinct. So extinct species, endangered species, endemic species. So you understood about this. Now we can see certain organisms which are becoming extinct, which are in a threat to become extinct, can be recorded in a book called as Red Data Book. It is a source book which keeps a record of all the endangered animals and plants. This Red Data Book is maintaining the record of all the endangered animals and plants, as well as those animals and plants which have got extinct. So in this book is maintained by Forest Department for knowing the record of all the animals and plants which are in a threat to get extinct, or which are in a threat to become endangered. So we can see here we can see here this red data book helps in knowing the or getting the information about endangered animals and plants. Now what else the government is doing? There are certain acts. For example, Forest Conservation Act in India aims at reservation and conservation of natural forests. The Forest Conservation Act in India aims at conservation and reservation of natural forest. You must have heard about WWF, that is World Wide Fund for Nature, and International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resource, that is IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, are international organization that work together for wildlife conservation. That is WWF and IUCN. They are organizations which work for the conservation of wildlife. Now, how forests and paper related? For making paper, we need wood pulp. And you know, for making 1 ton of paper, 17 full grown trees are required. So they will be destroyed or they will be cut. So you have to save the paper. That means you are saving the trees. So use the paper very judiciously. Don't waste the paper. If you waste the paper, that means you are cutting down the trees in order to make new paper. So in that way we can say paper needs to be used meticulously in order to save our trees. So it means that saving energy and water needed to manufacture paper, as well as reduction in pollution. If we save the forest, save the paper means save the forest. You are reducing the pollution. So in that way we have to think a lot, think twice when we are using the paper. And also they have mentioned about R. What is the importance of R? You must have learned in conservation of plastics or use of plastics. You have to reduce, reuse, recover, recycle. These R terms you must have learned. Similarly, one more R you can add here, refuse. You can add one more R, refuse, if anybody wants you to become a part of destroying nature. Never destroy the nature. And also try to try to recycle, reuse, reduce and recover. Same what we have learnt in the chapter plastics, synthetic fibers and plastics. At the end I can say that you all should meticulously think of saving our environment in order to have the ecosystem in a balanced condition. So for that, each one of us should have some aim to plant some trees or plant some saplings. That is called reforestation we have to think of. Reforestation is restocking of the destroyed forest by planting new trees. The planted tree should generally be of same species which were found in that forest. So if you cut a forest, better we should think to grow again some new plants. It takes millions of years, it takes hundreds of years to the plants to grow again and become a fully fledged forest. But as a citizen, as a responsible citizen of this country as well of the environment, what we should do, you have to protect your environment by growing trees, and thereby you can save the animals and plants surviving there for having a good balanced ecosystem.